So Hamas had bulldozers come up to the fence in Gaza to breach the fence line. And no one said, hey, it's in the daytime. No, no one said, hey, these guys are bringing bulldozers up. Oh, man, don't be, look at that. I want to knock that guy's mailbox over. Don't be a dick. No one said, hey, there's a bulldozer's coming up to breach the fence. You know, we don't think they're coming here to do apple picking. I can't believe this, man. I'm stunned to say that a bulldozer is going to show up, breach the fence. My wife is texting me right now, like, well, first they went in with airstrikes. Okay, don't you then? If they can mass so effectively as they're doing now, and I just say effectively in quotations, if they're bringing bulldozers, just the whole thing is such. I guess the head of the Israeli intelligence or something like that just resigned. I mean, how? I just don't get how people can't see this. It was obviously something of an inside job or some kind of, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. Frankly, I actually think this was in Israel. I think probably Israel relies on the U.S. security, you know, CIA, whatever. And I don't know this to be true, but it turns out, it turns out that Egyptians did not warn Netanyahu of this coming, by the way. So they're trying to pin it on Netanyahu, but the president of Egypt, I guess Al-Sisi, who's a staunch defender of Egypt against the Muslim Brotherhood. Everybody else is too. No one wants the Muslim Brotherhood in their things except for Turkey. He said, nah, we didn't get warning. We didn't give warning to Israel. I actually think it's the United States. Our intelligence is so, that's not, if you're in the CIA right now, if you're in the FBI, you're in U.S. Marshals, not saying that. Many FBI guys are crushing. Many Border Patrol agents, Marshals. My man Chris Barfield, freaking U.S. Marshal, crushing. These guys kick ass and take names. But there is a level, it doesn't take much. Remember, Werner von Braun was a Nazi running the NASA. You know what I'm saying? So, literally a Nazi. So they're hunting down Nazis all over the world after World War II, and we have our own right here running NASA. Doesn't mean if you work for NASA, you're part of a Nazi organization. It just means it doesn't take much to change. It doesn't take much for an organization to basically be negligent or absolutely even worse, to be counterproductive for peace. I frankly, what I think it is I think the neocons, and that's liberals too, by the way, they're so desperate for war against Iran that they wanted this to happen. They want to sacrifice innocent Palestinians, innocent Israelis, so that Iran could take the bait, encourage Hezbollah, and that way we'll get involved. And now what's going to happen is we got the USS Ford over there someplace. Maybe Iran will take pot shots at it. No different than the Gulf of Tonkin. I look, man, you can see it's a mile away. So we know that Jim Morrison's dad, Jim Morrison from the Doors, made up stuff about the attacks on his boats in the Gulf of Tonkin, which led to a deeper and deeper engagement in Vietnam. Probably the camel that broke the back for us to get involved heavily in Vietnam. All right, and it's just a lie. I mean, the guy was just a lie. And so 58,007 U.S. military personnel, of which I think 9 were women, the rest were young men, were dead, sacrificed to the beast that is a war machine. It's not just the U.S. war machine, it's a global war machine. And it's just sad, man. We had a lady, a young girl supposedly giving testimony in front of the U.S. Armed Service Committee in 1990 about Saddam Hussein going to Kuwaiti hospitals and murdering babies, and that got us all fit to be tied to go to war. And turns out that was a fraud. Then we have, the yellow cake, Colin Powell fraud. I mean, who knows what else frauds we got? I mean, my goodness. Did anyone ever actually see Osama bin Laden? I remember I was outraged. Like, we gave him a supposed military burial at sea. I remember I was outraged by that. Why does he deserve to have any respect? Well, now I realize that it probably wasn't even him. Probably wasn't even him. Is he? Who knows? Maybe he's working for the CIA. I don't know, man. But now we got this thing where bulldozers are coming up in Hamas. And the Gaza Strip. Israel, my wife says, oh, well, they were, under attack with airstrikes and whatnot. Okay, well, guess what? Israel is under attack by missiles quite a bit. And I don't think you're going to sit there and say, well, we're not going to pay attention to this now, to let a bulldozer just meander its way up, start pulling apart the fence line, so 400 Hamas guys on mopeds and pickup trucks can come in and kill people. It's mind-boggling that this was allowed to happen. I just no other way around it. So now what's going to happen is Israel is going to counter. I just heard some guy saying, who was it, Ben Shapiro or something like that, basically, well, it sucks to be a Palestinian, but, you should have evacuated. Well, where the hell are they going to evacuate to, man? So now millions, hundreds if not thousands of innocent Palestinians will be killed. Iran's going to say, all right, Hezbollah, go through the West Bank. U.S. is going to send military. Iran will take pot shots at it, and we're going to get more and more involved. How many more U.S. citizens will die because of a war that's overseas again? We'll never learn our lesson, because the lesson isn't to be learned. This is a war machine that profits off a war. And that way they can also kill off the people who, the Americans, the young men, patriotic people, that they don't have to worry about as part of their, as they take over the United States in terms of stamping out your freedom. And they got rid of all they mandated the vax to get rid of a lot of the good cops, good teachers, good nurses, good military personnel. Who steps in to fill the breach there? There's a bunch of people say, do-gooders. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now they're like, all right, will they bring back a draft or something? I don't know. The hell's bells will they do? Freaking, I'll be the first to buy my kid a train ticket out of here to go to Honduras or something like that. Hell no, they're going to fight these guys' wars. I'll tell you right now. There's no way this can be made sense of. None whatsoever. And there's no way we can say it was the IDF guy, ex-commander of the IDF, just said, oh, we just dropped the ball. Yeah, no way. No way. Well, one guy was asleep at the wheel. But come on. It's a sacrifice, dude. It's a sacrifice to Satan, man. These people got sacrificed to Satan. There's no other way around it. And more will come. And don't let it be you. Because nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. Now, when they nothing you can do about it. So don't let them, don't get mad. I mean, I'm mad, but don't let it freaking ruin your day. You still got to be out there and be productive. Just see evil for what it is. The head of the University of Virginia Students for Justice in Palestine, or just the Students for Justice for Palestine, SJP. The head of the University of Virginia is a guy named Josh Rosenberg, who's studying queer ideology or something like that. The guy's just obviously, as Mr. Roper would say, remember Mr. Roper? You know what I'm saying? So a guy named Josh Rosenberg from the University of Virginia, head of the Students for Justice for Palestine, who's an obviously 57 Flavors ally, if not explicit, has written some pretty evil stuff in terms of Israel. You can't make this stuff up, dude. It's all a clown show. All a clown show. The good guys are us who don't take the bait. Look, I used to be, before COVID, I tell you, man, I would be rip-roaring, freaking nuke the Gaza Strip, who cares? I'd be rip-roaring. And it's kind of, in some ways, hard not to get dragged back in that, because you can see the people who are defending this abhorrent action, and you're just like, I hate those people. I hate them, and I don't want to be, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm dealing with. It's like, I don't want to be allied with those people. They're freaking evils. I don't want to be Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib and these clowns that are in the streets of Dearborn and the streets of Europe and whatnot. I don't want to be allied with those clowns. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand them. I don't want to be on the side of Noam Chomsky, for heaven's sake. I mean, these are evil people. I still get pulled back into like, oh man. But after COVID, I realized it's all fake. And it's what people died, don't get me wrong. Horrible sufferings have happened. It's all a sacrifice for Satan, man. And right now, I can't believe people don't see this. See my wife? She don't see it. I mean, she kind of, in a way, you know what I'm saying? But she's not as bloodthirsty as all these clowns on the right are. Let's go and just nuke everything. I mean, just this insanity, man. And I used to be like that too. COVID changed it all for me, man. Seeing that and how easy people were to be led by the nose without any need at all. It's just a fear. Just a fear. But it's not even the fear. It wasn't the fear. At the beginning, I get it. There's some guys I said, I can't believe you guys are falling for this. They came around. But it was the bombardment of like social credit. If you don't do this, you want me dead. This being the J, the Matt, the whole thing. And people just said, I have to go with the crowd. I have to. Some will say rightly, their job is at stake. My wife got fired because she wouldn't take the J. But that's different than your life at stake. No one went up to you and laid you on your bed with a platoon of infantrymen from the 82nd Airborne and said, you will have to take this J. Not one person. That did not happen here in the United States. I don't know what happened in Israel. Very high acceptance, if you know what I'm saying. But that did not happen in here. And as such, you can't say, well, my life was threatened. It just was not. It wasn't threatened. Now, you could say, well, my financial security was. Well, yeah, if your financial security is built on debt, if your financial situation is built on debt, let that be a lesson to you. Mine, too. Now, how to watch what I said. I got banned a couple times off YouTube or suspended. I had 2 strikes. It's up to my last strike, just like the Braves last night. Bob the Ninth, my last strike. And because I have debt, not enough savings, I said I better watch what I say. And I did. If I didn't have debt and had enough savings, I don't care, so whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's just after COVID, though, that changed everything for me. I recognize how easily swayed people are to commit injustice as long as that makes them feel like they're getting social credit. And now we have the same thing, this false dichotomy of left versus right, Muslims versus Christians, or Muslims versus Israelis, Jews, or whatever, Muslims versus Indians. I used to fall for this to myself. And we say, look, they can't get along with anybody. Well, that's just not true. There's always radicals. There'll forever be radicals. You got them in your own country who are supposed Christians, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you can't. I'm just over this idea of blaming an ethnicity, blaming a religion, or race, because it's just dumb. Now, are some people more susceptible to fall for stuff? Yeah. Who are those people? I don't know. I mean, you can look around and see. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to say there are some people. Generally speaking, there can be uber wealthy people like Josh Rosenberg. I'm sure or whatever his name is, Rosenberger. I'm sure that guy's uber wealthy. We got the guy from Harvard. Same thing. Students for Justice for Palestine in Harvard. Uber wealthy guy. Uber. So you got to be incredibly wealthy, or you got to be downtrodden. So the wealthy want the downtrodden to be their army. That's just a fact. Because the wealthy will never, none of this ever pushes back on them. The brushback that the downtrodden will find won't happen to the wealthy. The Josh Rosenbergs of the world and whoever the economist from Harvard, Sam Bankman-Frieds. None of this never gets pushed back. I mean, he might go to jail for a couple of days, but it's not going to be like the January 6th, quote, terrorist. It's funny, too, because the same people who wanted the January 6th terrorist in jail, I say terrorist laughingly, the people on the left there are now the same people saying, mass, we want a mass, response by Israel. Some of those people on the left aren't doing it. It's just this interesting, the dichotomy there. That's some of the same people say, throw the book at the January 6th. Those are real terrorists. 17 years is not enough. Those same freaking scumbags. Now raise Gaza. Raise Gaza. And raise is not bring it up, and he's level it. A la Dresden. I actually read people, left-wing guys, make Gaza Dresden. I'm like, dude, this is sickening, man. Anyway, I can't believe it. It's literally a clown show. We are led by clowns. It's, again, sacrifice of Satan. Don't fall for it. It's just a clown show, and there's nothing you can do. All right, see you.